G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of Wine Back Wednesday. And today it's beautiful sunny in McLaren Vale, but there's quite a bit of wind out there, so I thought I'd come inside and do the video, and rather than look at a bottled finished wine, I thought I'd come and chat about some components of a wine we're about to bottle here at Smidge. I'm going to talk about the 2022 Fiano. Fiano is a variety that is originally from the south of Italy, mainly grown in Campania and Sicily, and being very Mediterranean there, it suits the climate of McLaren Vale very, very well. Like most Italian varieties, it holds its acidity really well, and with the warmer climate we have here, that's really good because whites often, traditional whites like Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay and Semillon, unfortunately they have a tendency to get a bit flabby and lose their acidity really quickly. So with the surge of the Adelaide Hills in the last 20 so years, those varieties do very well up there, and we've really moved away from them down here in McLaren Vale and found things like Fiano and Vermentino and some of the Portuguese varieties as well are doing really well down in this part of the world. Here we go, we've got two parts. Usually we have three. We handpick this little block from down here in McLaren Vale, and we usually do a skin contact component, which is like we ferment it like red wine. We put the fruit all together, we just stem it, take the fruit away from the stalks and ferment it like a red wine. It gets plunged twice a day, so we mix the cap in with the fermenting juice, and that stays on skins for about 28-30 days, and then after that it gets pressed off. Excuse me. And unfortunately this year we didn't do that because even though we had a mild dry season, there was a bit of days of quite intense sunshine, and we had a little bit of sunburn in a couple of the parts of the vineyard, and unfortunately, even though we hand pick it just to keep things simple, we avoided that component altogether. When you do have a bit of sunburn, often the finished wine can be a bit bitter, so rather than jeopardize the entire blend, just avoided that component altogether. So we hand picked it, we whole bunch pressed the wine, and the juice was then split between stainless steel tank and barrel. Usually we have about 25 to 40% with a barrel ferment component in there, and just for the sheer volumes we've got about 25% this year. The stainless steel component, stainless steel being very inert, really reflects the quality of the fruit and the flavours that we see in the fruit in the vineyard. So really citrus driven. There is also some nice almond meal notes in the background, really lifted and fresh. There's even some honeysuckle notes as well, so subtle, yeah, those honeysuckle floral notes, and those flavours similarly on the palate, but really good acidity. As I said, this variety holds its acidity well, even though we're in a warm climate. It's really suitable down here. A really nice lemon, lime sort of zing through it, and the acidity to match. It's not searing, but it's really fresh and lively. Whereas the barrel ferment component, more lifted. And so some brioche, some cashews, some almond meal, some custard apples. Similarly on the palate, there's acidity of the stainless steel component, but you've got all those other flavours and richness and roundness coming through as well. And so again, yeah, there's that brioche note, really custard apple, even some lemon curd sort of texture as well and flavours, really good length and richness. So in their own right, they're both really interesting, tasty wines, but I think when you put them together, it really completes the wine and even more interesting and complex. So I've just put about 20% sort of in there, a bit of a guess. But you can straight away, you can see both components in there. They're sort of evolving and moving around. There's that lovely fresh citrus notes. There's that lemon curd and custard apple notes. There's the almond meal sort of floating around in there. And similarly on the palate, lovely zesty citrus notes coming through to start with, and then gradually the palate gets a bit wider and richer, and some nice subtle lemon curd notes and custard apple texture, some almond meal and cashew sort of notes as well. But that acidity runs through the whole thing, keeping the wine lively all the way through. So with that, the wine is, oh gosh, like Australia, we have such a multicultural society. It suits so many different kinds of foods we have here. We had, let's see, seafood, antipasta, Asian meals. We actually had dinner last week at Fino Vino in Adelaide here, and we had the 2020 Fiano with a lovely mushroom dish, different kinds of mushrooms, and they're really lifted and vibrant and tasty, and the two just married really well and complemented each other amazingly. So you can actually try it with anything. Fresh, lively, but enough texture to marry up with some richer foods as well. So thanks for listening. That's another Wine Back Wednesday. We'll speak to you soon.